Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the full moon in Libra that happens on the 16th of April 2022. I'm going to put a picture here of what it looks like downstairs at the moment, because this full moon is known as the pink moon, and I've got these beautiful trees downstairs and they're in bloom and they have these beautiful pink blossoms everywhere. So I went outside to film, but it started raining and the bells were making a ton of noise. So I'm back in here, but I thought I'd show you that because it's just so gorgeous. Pink is associated with spirituality and love. If you think about the chakra system, the crown chakra is associated with the color pink, and it allows you to feel the love of the universe, and it makes you feel safe, and it gives you this ability to see the good in everything. And that's what I think this full moon is all about. So it happens at 7:54 in the evening, and that's based on Central European time. I'm based in Austria. So I'm going to put up the charts of this full moon now. So that's going to be next to me, hopefully. This chart is a snapshot of the sky at the moment this full moon happens at 7:54. And I'm going to have a look at the chart to see what relationships the planets form with one another, what energy that brings up, and how you can use that energy to your advantage. I have a really good feeling about this. The full moon is in Libra, which is a sign associated with connection, seeing things fairly. It's an air sign, so it's about communication, being articulate and expressing things in a beautiful way. It's your connection to the higher realms, but also a connection with other people. And if we get back what we're putting out, the fact that this strong desire for harmony and balance exists within you, it's very likely that you hold up a very positive mirror to other people and that you get that back. Venus, the planet of love and beauty and creativity, that actually rules the sign Libra. So it gives you access to all those things governed by Venus. So to be creative, to see things in a way that's kind of even-keeled and balanced. Although I think with Libra, there's a tendency to see the potential in things and what they could become. So you're able to kind of look into the future and how you can improve any situation and make it work more effectively for yourself and for other people. And then obviously it's love. Love is in the air, the color pink, and having this ease with other people and coming across in a great way means that other people are much more likely to respond in kind, and that you can enjoy the people in your life who you love already, friends, family, colleagues, but also to be open to new relationships and to have faith that things are going to work out nicely, rather than assuming that it's all going to go belly up like it has in the past. So it gives you this amazing optimism and enthusiasm for other people and for your circumstances. Because it's at 26 degrees, 8 in numerology, that's power and strength. Now the full moon in itself is something that we feel intensely anyway, because the moon has kind of reached this completion point in its 28-day cycle, and it lets go of the energy. So you'll feel the Libra effect very powerfully, but it is amplified by the number 8, which makes this even stronger. So the message I'm getting around that is, if you're looking to be in a relationship, or if you have felt a little bit lonely lately and you want to connect with people and places and things, it makes it very easy for you to kind of jump over your own shadow and to say, do you know what? I am going to take a risk here. I'm going to see how things work out in future. The future isn't written yet. It's what I put into it. It's what I can add to the situation that's going to give me an outcome. That's interesting, actually, because it reminds me that Libra is a cardinal sign. So the modes in astrology, cardinal particularly, is about taking charge of a situation. And that very simply says, if you want things to be beautiful in your life, you're not powerless. You can roll up your sleeves, work towards, not perfection, that would be Virgo, work towards making things more harmonious and beautiful, and understanding intuitively what it is that needs to be done. So to simply go to the social event and to talk to people, or to put the final touches on your masterpiece, whatever it may be. What's really nice about this as well is that what's lighting it up is the sun, and that's in Aries at 26 degrees. Now, the moon is what you feel naturally and what you can tap into without it being overly complicated. So this nice sense of connection and balance. The sun is what you're working towards becoming. It's your conscious identity, and it's what gives you a sense of strength and control. In Aries, the sun is in a fire sign. The sun rules Leo, another fire sign. So as far as I'm concerned, the sun is really happy in Aries because it's very focused on shining its light in a particular direction to make progress. And the light in itself allows you to identify new goals and things that you want to pursue. And it motivates you to then get anything that stands in the way between you and this thing that you want. You're able to either jump the hurdle or move it to the side so that you can progress and that you can get what you want. If you think about the ruler of Aries, that's Mars. That's the red planet of desire and drive and a lack of patience. So that's often required if you're going to go on this tough journey of bulldozing through obstacles, because if you were passive about it and you didn't have any desires, you wouldn't take that journey. So the sun, because it's 180 degrees away from the moon, also is at 26 degrees, which is 8. So more strength, the ability to really focus on one particular thing and to make that everything. Not in a small kind of obsessive way, but to say this is what's important to me in my life at the moment. Yes, there are other things I would like. So for instance, I want to improve my work and my living situation. I also want to have a relationship. But the thing that's most important to me today is to beautify my working life. Then you'll be able to focus on that one thing until you do make some progress, rather than getting scattered and spreading your energy in lots of different areas, making you less effective. So you're super effective. And if there's anything in your life to do with things governed by Venus, love, creativity, beauty, and the environment, and any of them resonate with you, you feel strongly about making some inroads there, please focus on those, because that's what's going to be most pliable. That's what you can work with most effectively and where you can affect the most change. The moon then forms some major aspect patterns in this chart. First of all, it forms a trine with Black Moon Lilith at 0 degrees in Cancer. A trine is when two planets, luminaries, are 120 degrees away from each other, and it's kind of like a subtle, harmonious energy. Now, the way I read Black Moon Lilith, and thank you for the comment last time, someone said, Black Moon Lilith is this amazing figure. You simplify it and look at it as the lower self, the thing that tries to sabotage you. And the answer is yes, it's the thing that kind of, as far as I'm concerned, is the thing that kind of encourages you to feel other, to feel separate, that says you have to operate in the shadows and you have to keep it all to yourself. Because I don't think that the lower self likes having a light shined on it, because that's when it's exposed. And the negative things that keep you stuck are often these subtle, nefarious inner workings that disappear as soon as you speak about them. Or, things look much darker obviously at 3 a.m. than they do at midday. So that's why I interpret it that way. The Black Moon Lilith is at 0 degrees in Cancer. So the lower self is saying, hey, don't trust that relationships are going to work out well. Don't expect that people are going to return the care and affection that you're giving them. Don't bother. Just stay home. Don't connect. And whenever anything is at 0 degrees in the chart, I always see that as receiving the quintessential nature of that influence. Because let's say it's at 1 degree, it takes on, for instance, a pioneering quality. If it's at 5 degrees, freedom is involved. But at 0, it's really Black Moon Lilith in Cancer. And it says that you can't rely on the kindness of strangers, and you have to be guarded and shut down. So that actually bodes really well if you look at it a certain way, because if your lower self is trying to sabotage you from something, there's actually great potential for success in reality. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so invested in kind of sticking the thorn in your side and trying to make you full of doubt. And the fact that it's in Cancer saying, oh, be very careful about how much you expose and reveal, it means to me that if you do take this approach of, if I give something, of course I'll get it back. If I'm kind, of course I'll receive kindness. Because during this full moon, I get the sense that that's the blessing and the gift of this pink moon. But you can only receive it if you're willing to take an emotional risk. Yup. The moon then obviously opposes the sun. I've mentioned that briefly. But then it also quincunxes, so it's 150 degrees away from Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces, and they're both at 24 degrees. So Jupiter and Neptune are conjunct, and that is really nice. Jupiter is the lucky planet of success and good fortune. In Pisces, it makes your spiritual life much bigger, and this association with the crown chakra means that you feel the love. Even if you live by yourself and you've been stuck indoors for a while and you don't talk to anybody, there's this natural ease of being, and it's a sense that actually I am something special. Something out there does love me and I can trust it. Neptune is the water planet of dreams and intuition. It rules Pisces, so it's very happy in that sign. Excuse me. Yeah, because it's the sign that it's most comfortable in. And it means that you're creative. Your intuition speaks to you and guides you through situations which at other times you may have to figure out by looking at the facts and the information. You have this natural inner compass working with you and for you, saying, go in this direction, it's going to work out nicely. So if you're able to trust that and maybe even deliberately connect with your higher self, your inner self, by doing something like meditation, and because it's the water planet, things that are supported by that are, as spiritual practices, are things like meditation, music, yoga, qigong, relationships, being by the seaside. Anything watery is going to make you feel connected. 2 and 4 is 6. That's a temporary opportunity. So this is something that opens up for you on this day, where it's like, oh yeah, I know that I'm loved. I get it. It's just not a question even. It's just a natural opportunity to feel the love. And with Jupiter sitting on top of Neptune, Jupiter is good luck, but it's also the biggest planet in our solar system, and it makes everything bigger. It expands it. So not only does Neptune give you this spiritual affinity, Jupiter makes it squared, like to the power of 2, and you're going to have absolutely no issue connecting with your guides, your angels, your higher self. So if that's something you've been working towards, to like have a spiritual breakthrough, or to feel a sense of being centered within yourself, that something bigger exists inside of you, you'll be able to nail that today, really. And it's interesting that I say nail, because that seems kind of harsh and aggressive, but that's what I like about this. It's, the focus of the sun in Aries, saying if I want to do something, I have to get it done myself. I have to focus on it first and then make it happen. But then with this love and ethereal beauty of Jupiter and Neptune, if you focus on spirituality, you'll be able to make progress there. Venus sits next to those two. So Venus is the personal planet of love and beauty that rules Libra. It's not technically conjunct to Neptune and Jupiter because it's 12 degrees away, but it's near enough for it to be influential. And with Venus being the personal planet, Neptune is the higher octave of it. So Venus is love with another person and what you're doing. Neptune is love on a global scale and your experience and your perception of the world. Again, if you've had some negative experiences and you're feeling a little bit hard done by, bitter, you'll be able to make sense of those bad experiences, not put them aside or sweep them under the rug, but not necessarily let them define you on this day, and to say, just because negative stuff has happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again in future. That's really the blessing I feel, that it's this optimism and this willingness to try again. So Venus is at 12 degrees in Pisces. 1 and 2 is 3. That's communication and new beginnings, which is very aligned with Venus, because Venus in the tarot, and I don't want to overcomplicate it, but the Empress is the third card in the tarot, and she even has the symbol of Venus in the card, and it's about new life and new beginnings. And in Pisces, it's the beginning of a new spiritual life, a relationship that nurtures you spiritually. Like, you know, a romantic relationship where you're so in love that literally things start to look pink and everything is now beautiful and fresh and holds this promise. That's what this is about. It's like Venus in love on steroids. I love it. And a quincunx, it's that green dotted line in the chart. There's perfect combination and communication back and forth between the moon and all of these lovely watery lucky planets. So by trying to see the bigger picture, you'll be supported in that. The moon then also forms a sesqui square, so it's 135 degrees away from Venus, so it connects with the moon directly. It's not just via Neptune and Jupiter. And the moon also connects with Mars. Yes, it trines Mars, so it's 120 degrees away from it. Mars is a little bit more complicated here. I think it's in the most benign and loving placement it can be at. Mars rules Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. So it's about, let's get things done and moving. In Pisces, it's in the last sign of the zodiac, and it's like, let's make spiritual progress. So it's very different. But what complicates this more is that it's at 1 degree. 1 in numerology is the pioneering boss energy, I create. So that's not very passive, that's not very receptive. It's like, I'm going to do it. But the way to work this, I feel, is to say, I'm going to make spiritual progress. I'm going to allow myself to explore and to see what the world offers me in return. I'm going to let myself be surprised, but I am willing to make the effort. I am able to take all this spiritual fuel that I've got to see what's out there. So it's abstract and practical and tangible at the same time. Spiritual love and connection, and finding things that you love and can connect with in a real world sense. Saturn is next to Mars. It's at 23 degrees in Aquarius. And that's interesting because Saturn in Aquarius is the rules and what society says, and an appreciation for information, the desire to blend in, to compromise, to fit into something bigger than yourself. And 23 is 5. 5 in numerology is freedom. So it may seem on one hand that if I want to make progress, I have to be informed. And I have to compromise myself or censor myself, present myself in a certain way if I want to get the love in return. But I don't think that's the way to tap into it. And please leave a comment if you disagree. The way it feels to me is by saying, do you know what? I have something beautiful to offer. I have something sitting inside of me that's valuable. And if I share that with the rest of the world, then I'm inserting a little bit of freedom into the planet that other people can tap into. So, you know, if you're at a social function and someone is telling jokes and so charming and telling the most amazing stories, then people are going to gather around that person to try and listen because they're offering something free of charge, and people will be delighted by that and will want more. The same person, if they're having a bad day and they're sitting in the same situation and complaining about their foot hurting, then it's very unlikely that a group is going to gather around them. You know what I mean? So it's not about censoring yourself or trying to be a particular version. It's tapping into the moon in Libra, which gives you this wonderful emotional equilibrium, which says, do you know what? I feel gorgeous. I feel loved. And then just letting that go and sharing it with other people, rather than making them come to you, you're attracting them to you. You may think I'm splitting hairs with that, but to me, that's a fundamental difference because you're hands off, you're allowing it to happen rather than forcing anything. But what's suspicious to me is Saturn and Mars sitting together, because that's a very energy, even though they're in Pisces and Aquarius. Mars, I want to make spiritual progress. Saturn, I do want to kind of give something, but I have a tendency to comply. That can create a lot of friction. So the one thing to watch out for, I would say, is that if you get a response which is totally unaligned with what you're putting out. You know, if you're feeling good and stuff and you're being creative, and then you come across someone who's just super rude or rejects you, or it just seems totally incongruous with everything else that's been going on, I feel that can make you bristle and react quite badly. It can feel like a slap in the face, like, wow, I didn't see that coming, I'm surprised. So of course things aren't always going to return to you exactly as you put them out. Usually it does, but once in a while you get someone who's totally tuned out of what's going on, or misses the point, or a situation which is based on officialdom. Like if you get a rejection from a course you've applied to and you were so excited, try not to take that too personally or to overthink it. If something goes that way on this day, then it's actually confirmation that it wasn't going to have a happy outcome. It wasn't meant to be part of your experience, and compartmentalize it that way and say, thank you, universe, for saving me a lot of time and effort and stopping this right now, instead of making it drag on for a long time and then giving me the unhappy outcome. Okay, then the moon squares Pluto 28 degrees in Capricorn. Pluto's transformation and change and healing. Capricorn, it's healing your work, your practical circumstances, and the ability to work towards change. And again, at 1 degree, it's up to me to make it happen. I'm the person in charge here. So you're very willing to do the work, and you're very welcoming of change. Pluto is also something that allows you to go with the flow. So if there is a minor disappointment, you'll be able to let that go in one ear and out the other very quickly, rather than ruminating and sitting on it for hours or days. And speaking of days, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I always feel the influence of a full moon lasts over several days. So here this happens on the 16th, so 15th, 16th, 17th, I would say you can tap into this and make the most of it. Okay, and then what's interesting is we have a major aspect pattern in this chart. We have a grand cross, which is this big red square, and it doesn't actually include the moon, but it includes some other significant things, and I just want to touch on that. Because a grand cross is something that gives you lots of energy, but it's also something that feels challenging at times, or because it's made up of squares, there's friction involved, back and forth, and it can make it hard to decide on one thing. It connects the South Node in Scorpio with the Midheaven in Leo, the North Node and Uranus, and to a certain extent even Mercury in Taurus, and then it finishes up and becomes this big square by squaring Saturn and Mars in Aquarius and Pisces. Okay, so the South Node and the North Node, they're where you're coming from on a spiritual level, or what feels natural and like it's part of your experience, it's been done in the past. And the North Node is what you're striving towards. The South Node at 23 degrees in Scorpio gives you that emotional intensity. I want to matter to someone. I want to feel loved. I want to take difficulties and transform them into something better. I want to be hopeful that things can alter. They don't always have to be like this. And the North Node at 23 degrees in Taurus says if you take that emotional strength and you apply it to your real life, you're going to find that you're successful because something touchable comes in that gives you that sense of, I've made it, I'm free, I got what I wanted. So it's very unlikely that Mars is going to be disappointed and is going to upset you, because with this South-North Node connection, things are very likely to go in your favor. So the South Node in Scorpio squares the midheaven in Leo at 22 degrees. The midheaven in your birth chart, it shows me what you're good at work-wise, right? What you're most comfortable with at noon in any day. And according to the astrology, that's when you're most yourself and most productive, i.e. work. 22 is the master number of the builder, and Leo is the sign ruled by the sun. That's about summertime and enjoying the warmth, because the chart is based on the northern hemisphere, so August. And it's about playtime, confidence, playing in a beautiful meadow with your little puppy and running around. It's that kind of vibe. It's happiness. It's like the sun in the tarot. The inner child is alive and well and kicking. At 22 degrees, the important thing to access all of this good stuff is to realize Or no, it's not to realize that you have value and you have something to offer. It's just by giving yourself permission to tap into that and to allow it to kind of flow through you. You are special. You're breathing right now, so you're a unique, special human being, spiritual being with a lot to offer. And that's the end of it. It's as simple as that. So if you find a way of feeling the joy of yourself, if you find a way of enjoying yourself, and I'm not saying enjoy yourself by, oh, I'm enjoying taking this bath, or I'm enjoying this jog I'm on. Enjoying you. Like, I enjoy myself. That can be difficult for a lot of us. For me, it's like picking simple things that I actually like. I remember when I was at university, this girl, she was looking at me and she's like, Greg, you've got really nice ears. It's like, thank you, that's so sweet. Ever since then, I have enjoyed my ears. I really have. That compliment stuck. So what do you like about yourself? What do you enjoy about you being this particular incarnation of you right now? Pick something that you enjoy, build on that, go out into the world, and it will be returned to you manyfold. The midheaven in Leo then squares the North Node in Taurus. I've talked about that. So the confidence leads to actual happy, positive results coming back. And then the North Node with Saturn and Mars means that you don't have to make much of a spiritual effort, I don't feel. That sounds very abstract, you know, it's like, okay, you have to sit there cross-legged and go, you don't. Pick something that you enjoy. That's the spiritual effort that's required. Avoid censoring yourself and you're off and running. Okay, so I'm just going to check I haven't missed anything here. So we've got Pluto, then we've got Saturn and Mars. Yep. Venus, Neptune, Jupiter. Yep. We've almost got a yod in the chart. If you look at the quincunx between the Moon and Jupiter, there's another quincunx connecting Jupiter and the midheaven in Leo. If those two had a sextile sitting at the bottom, then this would be called a yod, which is known as the finger of God, and that's a particular quality that you've got. I'm kind of generous with these things, so I still count this as a yod. So Jupiter connecting with Leo means that your natural confidence and your ability to enjoy yourself is amplified. So even if, you know, there is only one thing about yourself that you like, focus on that one thing and it'll grow and it'll get bigger. And that's the big gift and the big talent of the day, that you can be confident and happy in yourself, even if you're not exactly where you want to be. That's it. I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday and she was saying something to that effect, like, you know, I'm not exactly where I thought I would be at this age. And I was like, yes, but think back to when we first met 15 years ago and how far we've come, you know? And I don't think any of us are at the finishing line, but we've all made a lot of progress. Just because it doesn't look exactly the way we imagined or wanted, doesn't mean that the trend hasn't been upwards. I really ask yourself that during this full moon, because you'll be able to identify something which confirms that you have made progress. Okay, anything else? Nope. Uranus at 13 degrees in Taurus means that your practical circumstances and security doesn't really interest you. You're much more interested in what could be. And by having that openness, that's the way the world is able to deliver something to you in return. You know, it's like if you're trying to manifest something and you do a vision board or you write down exactly what you want. I want my perfect future with my partner. He needs to be 6'2.5" and have brown curly hair. And okay, at least you're manifesting and you're putting something specific out there. But what I think works much better is to open it up to the universe, to say, you know what, universe, I would like this ideal partner, or surprise me with something even better that I could have never thought of myself. I'm willing to receive. And I think that's a message as well, to be open to that kind of good stuff coming in. And that's it. Yep. Strongest element on the day is water. Water is about love and spiritual connection. And it really is a pink moon. Yeah. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you'll be working with here on the 16th of April. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on the button that says book your reading to order your reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology. The way I just read this chart, I draw up your birth chart by taking your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, don't worry. I can either use sunrise or I can rectify the chart for you. That's a process where I work out your time of birth. So if you want to get that, get in touch with me. Once I have that info, then I get a chart exactly like this one, and then I just read it in a very similar way, except things like, here with the midheaven, it's about what you are naturally like. I'll be able to specifically see these are your talents when it comes to work for you specifically. So if it was Leo, like in this case, it would be like, you're going to be a natural leader or performer. Okay, so if you're interested in any of that, then please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Please do share this video online. That would really help the channel and keep me going. I'd appreciate it ever so much. So if you're feeling generous, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful time, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.